There comes a moment when silence screams louder than words. When you finally realize you're giving everything to people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. Read that again. You've been bending, breaking, sacrificing pieces of yourself just to be accepted. But here's the harsh truth. If they don't respect you, you don't belong there. Stop chasing their approval. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for you. Sometimes, the strongest thing you'll ever do is walk away and choose solitude over disrespect. Because being alone will never destroy you, but staying where you're undervalued will. You deserve respect, but respect doesn't come from begging, pleasing, or overextending yourself. It comes from knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. Alone doesn't mean lonely. Alone means free. Free to heal. Free to grow. Free to rebuild the version of you that nobody else believed in. The right people will find you. The ones who see your value won't need reminders. But until then, choose yourself. Choose peace. Choose silence over chaos. Respect is the foundation of every healthy relationship. Whether it's with family, friends, coworkers, or partners. When someone consistently fails to respect you, it's not just a disagreement. It's a violation of your worth. You cannot force anyone to value you. You cannot beg someone to treat you right. And the harder you try to earn their respect, the more power you give them to define your self-worth. That's why you must understand this truth deeply. If they don't respect you, walk away, without explanation. When you stay where you're undervalued, you teach people how to treat you. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you silently say, "It's okay. You can keep doing this." But it's not okay. And it will never be okay. Your silence becomes permission. Your tolerance becomes acceptance. And before you know it, your peace, your confidence, and your self-esteem are slowly stolen, piece by piece. Walking away is not weakness. It's power. It's choosing to stop fighting for a seat at a table where you were never meant to sit. You don't need to scream. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to write a speech to justify why you're leaving. Silence is your statement. Distance is your proof. The truth is, people who truly respect you will never put you in a position where you have to question your worth. You won't need to beg for kindness. You won't need to demand loyalty. You won't have to remind them how to treat you. The right people simply value you because of who you are, not because of what you do for them. Sometimes, walking away feels like the hardest thing in the world. You care, you invested time, you gave love, you tried to make it work. But no matter how much you give, you cannot make someone see your value if they choose to stay blind to it. That's not your burden to carry. Disrespect wears many faces. It isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's silent indifference. It's the way they ignore your boundaries. It's the constant taking without giving. It's the subtle manipulation that makes you doubt your worth. But you don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to confront every slight. The most powerful response you can give is simple: walk away. Because when you walk away, you reclaim your energy. You send a silent but powerful message: I am not available for disrespect. and something shifts inside you the moment you choose yourself over chaos. You stop begging for validation. You stop chasing people who only drain you. You stop apologizing for your standards. Walking away opens the door to growth. Solitude is not punishment, it's liberation. When you choose to leave toxic spaces, you create room for peace, healing, and clarity. You finally get to hear your own thoughts without the noise of constant disrespect. You realize that you were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong people. People often stay where they're disrespected because they fear loneliness. But loneliness isn't the absence of people. It's the absence of connection, understanding, and genuine respect. Being surrounded by people who don't value you is far lonelier than being alone. There is strength in silence. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. You don't need to make them understand what they lost. The best closure is choosing yourself. The best response to disrespect is distance. The best healing comes from walking away without turning back. And when you walk away, you attract differently. You attract people who see your worth without you having to prove it. You draw in relationships that feel lighter, kinder, and more aligned with your values. You begin to notice how peaceful life becomes when you protect your boundaries unapologetically. If you continue to stay where you're undervalued, you'll slowly forget who you are. But when you leave, you remember your strength. You reclaim your identity. You rediscover the power of your silence, your boundaries, and your choices. Walking away is not running away. It's stepping into something better. Because every time you choose to stay where you're disrespected, you betray yourself a little more. But every time you walk away, you honor yourself. You prove to the world and to yourself that your self-respect is non-negotiable. You don't have to fight for a place in someone's life. You don't have to earn what should come naturally. You don't need to convince anyone of your value. Respect is not requested. It's reflected. If they can't see it, they're not meant for you. The moment you decide to walk away without explanation, you choose peace over chaos, dignity over desperation, and self-worth over approval. There's a kind of loneliness that feels heavier when you're surrounded by the wrong people. You sit among them, you laugh when they laugh, you play your part. Yet deep inside, you feel empty. That's the kind of loneliness that hurts the most. It's not the absence of people. It's the absence of truth, the absence of depth, the absence of love that's real. That's why you must understand this. Alone is better than being surrounded by fake love. Fake love wears many disguises. Sometimes it comes dressed as friendship, sometimes as romance, and sometimes even as family. It looks supportive on the surface, but feels hollow underneath. You can sense it. You can feel when someone's words don't match their intentions, when their smiles are rehearsed and their care has conditions. They cheer for you when you're quiet and small, but the moment you grow, the applause fades. Being surrounded by people who pretend to care about you, but secretly envy your happiness, is poison to your soul. They drain your energy, cloud your judgment, and make you question your worth. Every fake, "I'm proud of you," hides a quiet resentment. Every "I'm here for you" comes with unspoken expectations. It's exhausting to exist in spaces where you can't be fully yourself. This is why solitude isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. When you choose to be alone rather than entertain fake connections, you choose peace over chaos. You reclaim your energy. You give yourself permission to breathe, to heal, and to rebuild. Solitude teaches you self-awareness. It shows you who you really are when the noise fades, when the opinions disappear, and when no one is left to influence your thoughts. Fake love makes you doubt yourself. It makes you believe you need to settle for crumbs because you fear being alone. But the truth is, loneliness surrounded by fake love is far worse than solitude with self-respect. You deserve authenticity. You deserve people who celebrate your wins without jealousy, who show up without being asked, and who love you without keeping score. When you remove yourself from fake connections, you stop forcing relationships that were never meant to exist. You stop chasing validation from people who only value you when you're useful. You stop over-explaining, over-giving, and over-compromising just to keep a bond alive. Real love doesn't demand constant proof. Real love doesn't make you question where you stand. The hardest part is letting go. Walking away from people who have been in your life for years, even if they've never truly loved you, takes courage. It hurts because you invested time, emotions, and energy into something you believed was real. But you must ask yourself, what costs more? The pain of letting go or the pain of staying where you're not valued? Silence becomes powerful when you choose distance. You no longer waste your energy explaining why you're leaving or convincing people to change. You don't need revenge. You don't need to expose their intentions. You don't need to prove anything. You simply walk away and protect your peace. Solitude also gives you clarity. When you step back from fake love, you start to see who genuinely cares. You notice who checks in without needing something in return. You see who celebrates you quietly without needing recognition. The absence of noise reveals the truth. It shows you who's real and who's been wearing a mask all along. And in solitude, you grow stronger. You learn to love yourself without needing constant reassurance. You learn to validate your own worth without relying on others. You build a relationship with yourself so solid that fake love can no longer fool you. You stop confusing attention with affection and presence with loyalty. You start demanding better because you know you deserve better. Fake love is dangerous because it blinds you to what's real. It keeps you trapped in cycles of disappointment, hoping that one day they'll change, that one day they'll see your worth. But hoping for real love from fake hearts is like trying to light a fire with ashes. It will never burn. Choosing solitude doesn't mean giving up on people. It means creating space for the right ones to find you. The right people won't make you guess where you stand. They won't disappear when you need them most. They won't compete with your growth or secretly resent your happiness. The right people feel like peace, not confusion. Being alone gives you time to heal from the wounds fake love left behind. It lets you set new standards for yourself, higher boundaries, and deeper expectations. You stop allowing temporary people to have permanent places in your life. You start recognizing patterns and walking away sooner. You begin to see love as something sacred, not something to settle for. And when you finally experience genuine love from friends, family, or a partner, you'll feel the difference instantly. Real love feels safe. It feels light. It doesn't demand, it gives. It doesn't compete, it supports. It doesn't pretend, it shows up. Until you find that, it's better to be alone. Better to spend your nights in peace than lying awake questioning someone's intentions. Better to enjoy solitude than surround yourself with fake smiles and empty promises. Better to protect your energy than let it be drained by people who never truly cared. Because the moment you choose solitude over fake love, you choose yourself, you choose peace, you choose authenticity, and that choice will always lead you closer to the life and connections you truly deserve. Self-respect is one of the most powerful forces in your life. It silently communicates who you are, what you stand for, and what you will and will not tolerate. It's not something you announce. It's something you embody. And when you carry yourself with self-respect, you naturally attract people who recognize, value, and honor your worth. The way you treat yourself teaches the world how to treat you. If you constantly sacrifice your boundaries just to please others, you send a message: my needs don't matter. If you keep giving second chances to people who repeatedly disrespect you, you silently tell them, my value is negotiable. But when you set firm boundaries, when you refuse to lower your standards for temporary validation, when you choose peace over chaos, you send an entirely different message. I respect myself, and if you want a place in my life, you need to respect me too. Self-respect isn't arrogance. It's alignment. It's knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and refusing to accept less than what you deserve. It's understanding that not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your energy, your trust, or your love. And the moment you fully grasp this truth, everything changes. Your relationships, your friendships, your opportunities, and even the way you see yourself. The right people are drawn to energy that feels whole and grounded. They're attracted to authenticity, confidence, and clarity. They gravitate toward those who know their worth because it signals stability and strength. When you respect yourself, you naturally filter out those who are looking to manipulate, drain, or take advantage of you. People who thrive on control or exploitation avoid those with strong boundaries because they know they can't break them. On the other hand, self-respect acts like a magnet for genuine connections. When you value yourself, you attract people who value you too. You pull in those who match your energy, not drain it. The right people won't compete with your growth. They'll support it. They won't question your boundaries. They'll honor them. They won't disappear when times get tough. They'll stand beside you. But the opposite is also true. When you lack self-respect, you invite chaos into your life. You tolerate toxic behavior because you fear being alone. You accept disrespect because you crave approval. You cling to unhealthy relationships because you confuse attention with love. And over time, you start to believe that this is normal, that this is all you deserve. But it's not. The moment you decide to respect yourself enough to walk away from what no longer serves you, you change the entire trajectory of your life. You stop chasing people who don't see your worth. You stop begging for love, attention, or validation. You stop tolerating excuses and empty promises. Instead, you create space for better things, better relationships, better opportunities, and better energy. Self-respect also teaches you patience. It teaches you to wait for what aligns with your values instead of settling for what's convenient. It reminds you that quality matters more than quantity, whether it's friends, partners, or connections. A smaller circle of people who genuinely respect you is far more valuable than being surrounded by a crowd of people who only pretend to care. And when you choose self-respect, something powerful happens internally. You begin to trust yourself. You stop second-guessing your instincts. You stop apologizing for your standards. You stop explaining your worth to those who are determined not to see it. You develop an unshakable sense of confidence that doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves. When you operate from a place of self-respect, you don't need to force connections or chase relationships. The right ones will naturally gravitate toward you because your energy speaks louder than your words. Your boundaries signal strength. Your silence communicates self-assurance. And your choices show that you value yourself too much to settle for less. Self-respect also protects your mental and emotional well-being. When you honor your boundaries, you avoid situations and people that drain your energy. You stop engaging in meaningless conflicts. You stop over-explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You realize that not every battle is worth fighting, and not everyone deserves access to your peace. The more you respect yourself, the more you elevate your standards. You start expecting honesty, kindness, loyalty, and reciprocity, not because you demand perfection, but because you refuse to settle for anything less than healthy connections. And the people who can't meet those standards will naturally fall away. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about being intentional with your energy. It's about surrounding yourself with people who add to your life, not subtract from it. It's about creating relationships where respect flows both ways, where your voice is heard, and where your presence is valued. And when you live with self-respect, you stop fearing solitude. You understand that being alone is far better than being surrounded by people who belittle, drain, or disregard you. You start to enjoy your own company. You start to grow, to heal, to rebuild. And in that process, you become magnetic to the right people. Those who see your value without you having to prove it. Those who respect your boundaries without resistance. And those who choose you for who you are, not for what you can offer. Because the more you respect yourself, the more you attract relationships, opportunities, and environments that reflect that same respect. Your energy is your currency. It fuels your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately, your entire life. Yet so many people spend it recklessly, giving pieces of themselves away to everyone who demands it, without stopping to ask, do they deserve this part of me? The truth is simple but powerful: protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Every day, people and situations compete for your attention. Friends, family, coworkers, strangers, social media, endless notifications. The world is loud, and everyone wants a piece of you. But here's the reality most people never face. If you give your energy to everyone, you'll eventually have nothing left for yourself. Energy is finite, and the people around you influence it more than you realize. Some people fuel you, inspire you, and make you feel alive. But others drain you, exhaust you, and leave you questioning your worth. It's not always intentional, but it's real. That's why you have to be intentional about who you allow into your space, your mind, and your heart. Protecting your energy begins with awareness. Pay attention to how you feel around people. Do you leave a conversation feeling lighter or heavier? Do they listen when you speak, or do they only come to take? Are they happy when you succeed, or do they secretly resent your growth? Your emotions will always tell you the truth, if you're willing to listen. Not everyone deserves full access to you. Some people should have limited entry. Some need closed doors entirely. Boundaries are not selfish. They are survival. They are the walls that protect your peace, your clarity, and your growth. Without boundaries, you invite chaos into your life disguised as connection. Energy vampires exist. These are the people who thrive on your kindness, but give nothing in return. They take your time, your attention, your compassion, and leave you empty. And the more you give, the more they demand, until you're running on fumes, questioning why you feel so exhausted all the time. Protecting your energy means recognizing these patterns early and stepping back without guilt. You are not obligated to respond to every message, answer every call, or attend every event. You are not required to keep giving to people who never give back. You are not responsible for fixing everyone's problems while yours go ignored. Protecting your energy means prioritizing yourself without apology. There's a dangerous belief that saying no makes you selfish, but no is one of the most powerful forms of self-respect. Every no to things that drain you is a yes to your peace, your focus, and your future. The people who truly love and respect you will understand. The ones who don't were never there for you. They were there for what you could give them. Protecting your energy also means choosing your environment wisely. The spaces you inhabit shape your mindset. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, gossip, and drama, it will slowly consume you. You'll absorb the chaos, even if you're not directly involved. But when you choose to be around people who uplift, challenge, and inspire you, your energy shifts. You grow, you thrive. Silence is another form of protection. You don't need to explain every decision, justify every boundary, or prove your worth to anyone. The more you defend yourself to the wrong people, the more power you give them. Not everyone deserves to know your plans, your struggles, or your dreams. Guard them, protect them, share them only with those who have earned your trust. Sometimes, protecting your energy means walking away. Not every fight deserves your response. Not every insult needs a reaction. Not every relationship is worth saving. People reveal who they are through their actions. Believe them the first time. If someone consistently drains you, disrespects you, or takes you for granted, distance is not cruelty. Distance is clarity. Understand this: your energy sets the tone for your life. When you give it freely to people and situations that deplete you, you lower your vibration. You block opportunities. You delay your growth. But when you protect it, when you become intentional about where your time, focus, and heart go, you elevate. You create space for the right people, the right experiences, and the right opportunities to find you. Self-awareness plays a huge role in this process. Ask yourself regularly, who do I allow to influence my thoughts and emotions? Which relationships add value and which only take? Am I giving my energy to people who respect it or to those who drain it? Does my environment nourish my growth or stunt it? The answers will be uncomfortable sometimes. But discomfort brings clarity, and clarity leads to strength. Protecting your energy also means managing your inner world. Not every threat to your peace comes from other people. Some come from your own habits. Constant comparison, overthinking, replaying old wounds, and seeking validation. These patterns quietly consume you. Learning to silence the noise within is just as important as setting boundaries with others. Your time, attention, and energy are your most valuable resources. Be intentional with them. Spend them on people who see you, hear you, and respect you. Invest them in activities that nourish your growth and align with your values. Protect them from distractions, toxicity, and meaningless battles that don't serve your future. There's freedom in becoming selective. The more you protect your energy, the clearer your life becomes. You stop chasing approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop wasting time on people who aren't meant to stay. You realize that not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. Some only deserve to watch from a distance. People who value you will never question your boundaries. They won't guilt you for choosing peace. They won't resent you for protecting your energy. They'll understand because they live the same way. And those who don't understand, they're not your people. The more you practice this, the more aligned your life becomes. You'll notice how your relationships change, how your circle gets smaller but stronger, how your days feel lighter because you're no longer carrying other people's chaos, how your mind gets clearer because you stopped entertaining negativity. And the most beautiful thing happens when you finally protect your energy. You become magnetic. You naturally attract better people, better opportunities, and better experiences because your space is no longer cluttered with noise. You radiate peace, confidence, and strength. And the right people are drawn to that effortlessly. Because when you honor your energy, you honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, you show the world exactly how you deserve to be treated. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is power. There will be moments in life when people will overlook you, underestimate you, or even mistreat you. They'll test your patience, push your limits, and wait for you to break. Some will expect you to beg for their attention, their validation, or their approval. But here's the truth you must never forget: silence speaks louder than begging for attention. When you stop chasing, you start commanding. When you stop explaining, you start influencing. When you stop reacting, you start controlling the narrative. Your silence becomes a statement, louder than any words you could ever say. Because silence carries weight. It carries dignity. It carries self-respect. When you refuse to beg for attention, you send a clear message without saying a single word. I know my worth, and I will not lower it for anyone. The world teaches you to fight for validation. Social media teaches you to perform for likes. Relationships often pressure you to constantly prove your value. But chasing attention is exhausting. It strips you of your power and leaves you dependent on people who may not even deserve your presence. That's why silence is so powerful, because it shifts the energy back to you. People expect reactions. They want you to argue, explain, justify, or prove yourself. The moment you stay silent, they lose control. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what your next move is. That uncertainty is powerful. Silence isn't passive. It's strategic. Silence protects your energy. Not every insult deserves your response. Not every rumor needs your defense. Not every attack is worth your attention. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away without a word and let your actions speak for you. When you stay silent, you're not ignoring reality. You're rising above it. You're choosing peace over chaos, dignity over desperation, and strength over noise. People who don't respect you will try to provoke you, hoping you'll lose control. But your silence shows them they no longer have power over you. Understand this: your value doesn't decrease when someone fails to see it. Whether they acknowledge you or not, you are still enough. Begging for attention won't make someone respect you. In fact, it often does the opposite. The more you chase, the more they pull away. But when you step back, when you choose silence, you create space for people who truly appreciate your presence. Silence also builds mystery, and mystery is magnetic. In a world where everyone is shouting to be seen and heard, the one who speaks less often stands out more. The quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need constant validation is rare and powerful. People notice. They wonder what makes you so calm, so composed, so unshaken. But silence isn't just about others. It's about you. It gives you room to think, to reflect, to grow. When you're not constantly reacting, you gain clarity. You begin to see who deserves your energy and who only drains it. You realize that you don't have to fight for a place in someone's life. Because if they wanted you there, you wouldn't have to beg. Silence forces people to face themselves. When you stop explaining and justifying, they are left with their own actions. If they hurt you, your silence makes them confront their guilt. If they ignored you, your silence makes them wonder why. If they underestimated you, your silence makes them question their assumptions. And here's the beautiful part: silence allows karma to do its work. You don't have to expose anyone. You don't have to argue your worth. You don't have to scream your truth. Life has a way of revealing everything in time. Your silence lets the universe handle what you no longer need to carry. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean acceptance. It means strength. It means choosing to rise above negativity. It means refusing to waste energy on people and situations that don't deserve it. It means valuing your peace over their attention. This doesn't mean you should never speak up. It means choosing when to speak. Not every battle needs your voice. Not every situation requires your explanation. Sometimes silence is the loudest answer, the sharpest response, and the strongest boundary you can set. Remember this: attention fades, but respect lasts. When you beg for attention, you give away your power. But when you stay silent, you maintain control. You show that your worth isn't determined by anyone else's acknowledgement. You deserve to be around people who value you without you having to constantly prove yourself. You deserve relationships where your presence is celebrated, not questioned. You deserve opportunities that come to you because of who you are, not because you fought to be noticed. The more you embrace silence, the more your life changes. Your circle gets smaller, but stronger. Your mind gets quieter, but clearer. Your energy gets lighter, but more powerful. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop explaining and start becoming. And one day, the people who overlooked you will notice. The ones who doubted you will remember. The ones who ignored you will wonder. But by then, you'll be too far ahead, too focused, too unbothered to care. Because silence builds power. Silence builds respect. Silence builds freedom. And when you finally understand this, you'll stop fighting for places where you're not valued and start creating spaces where you're celebrated. So stop proving your worth to people who never saw it. Stop fighting for a place where you were never meant to fit. Be patient. Be strong. Be unshackable. Be alone until respect finds you. Because the day you finally choose yourself is the day the right people, the right opportunities, and the right love will choose you too.